Hello everybody and welcome to the Goofy Giord channel, where today we will be doing an experiment, seeing if the mighty Fernando Alonso, someone who's been crying out, I suppose fans have probably been saying, what could he do in a top team? So we are going to pair up Fernando Alonso against Max Verstappen at Red Bull to see what he can do. Yes, so here we are then. So Alonso has made it to Red Bull. He's 85 rated. We're here at Bahrain for the first part. So the annoying thing about this is that we can't sim everything. So we can sim all the way up to the race. We're at qualifying at the moment, so we'll simulate qualifying and see where they end up. But we can't simulate the race, so I haven't worked out. I don't think you can simulate the race, annoyingly, so we can't just sim through and see what the results are. But here we go, qualifying. So Max Verstappen is on par, about 2.5 tenths gap to Fernando Alonso in third. So let's see how we do in Bahrain, as we have David Croft, as we sort of just skipped that. So the car just kind of get ready for the race. But here we go then on the grid. 5 lights are out, Max on pole. How can we do? So you kind of have to manage it slightly during these races, obviously, but we're going to try and keep them as the same as possible, whether they're attacking, aggressive, pushing on fuel and whatnot. So as Alonso drops down to 4th place, as Sainz gets past him, and even with like upgrades, I have done upgrades on this, and trying to make sure that we manufacture the parts so both cars get the same equipment effectively, so everything is even as possible. But it's a decent start so far. Verstappen leading the race. Alonso down to 4th. But it'll be interesting to see what Alonso can do. Can he challenge Max? And I suppose over this next couple of episodes, because obviously 22 races, it's long. Whether we do all 22 races is probably yet to be seen. But as we just speed up, and we can now just kind of see what's happening. So we're only at times 8. I probably should have gone times 16. But Alonso is up there. Verstappen first. Here we go. We finally speed up. We're on to lap 15 now. Anyway, nothing has changed. Verstappen's kind of Alonso, has fallen back a little bit from the Ferraris, and is there in 4th place, but he's 5 seconds. But Sainz pits. So Ferrari going with the early strategy. We're on the one stop effectively with the medium tyres, seeing what they can do. But Verstappen at the moment has got a clear advantage over Fernando Alonso in this first race for now, as Leclerc pits. So now we'll be going through, I would assume now, till we pit around about lap 25, 26, and then sticking on a set of hard tyres, and then going all the way to the end. But Verstappen is just gaining. He's now 9 seconds a gap. Just every little lap, just taking a couple of attempts out of Fernando. Fernando can't really live with him here at Bahrain. Be interesting to see where they come out once the pit stops, because obviously Sainz and Leclerc should be fairly quick. Alonso, though, might be falling into the trap of potentially coming out in between the Ferraris, whereas Verstappen probably looking at a good chance of winning as we hit onto lap 25. And I'm assuming the pit stop window for the two drivers will be coming very soon. Tyres, 33%. Normally at 30%, that's when, boom, you got to change the tyres. This is the yellow flag in sector 2. Not pitted yet, so we've managed to hit the 30% now, so we should be coming into the pits. So yeah,
understood.
You can hear Verstappen wanting to change those tyres, and we're pitting him in this lap. And Fernando will probably be... We could double stack, potentially. Do I go for the double stack? I can't remember. I think I do go for the double stack. So we go for the double stack. But there's enough of a gap between the two drivers. 10.6 seconds. Although Alonso and Verstappen will come out behind Sainz and Leclerc in this race. But, yeah, we do want to box Fernando. We're all good. As Verstappen pits and Alonso pits too. They come out in 3rd and 4th. But don't have to stop again. Whereas the Ferraris will probably have to stop again. So I think Verstappen's probably got this race in the bag. It's going to be very interesting to see what Alonso can do compared to the Ferraris. And obviously, like already just losing points compared to Verstappen if he does finish 3rd or 4th. So currently on lap 30. And it's going good. Albon's gone wide. So we should be fairly quick now. Verstappen is kind of matching the pace of Sainz. Not really going much quicker. But as I said, we're expecting them to pit again. But now Verstappen, we can see, is now catching Sainz, as we're on lap 33 of this race. Still catching, slowly but surely, but I'm assuming the Ferraris will be in soon as we hit to lap 36 of this race. On time 16. Tyres are looking good at the moment. Fuel's looking okay. Joe's one wide. With low on fuel, you get these low on fuel messages quite a lot, but the fuel's kind of easy to manage. But hopefully we won't get caught out. But it was actually really interesting at the beginning. You can't actually fuel up. You have to be, well, with the Red Bull car, there's not enough fuel to start the race. But anyway, Verstappen is really catching Sainz now as we get another fuel limited sign. But it's all good, and same for Alonso, who is on the aggressive. We're trying to make sure he stays out because Sainz is pitting now, but it's only 1 second between Alonso and Sainz, and Sainz will be on the soft tyres here. So Alonso has locked up. So that has effectively ruined his race. We kind of didn't need him to do that. He's locked up. He's stopped. He's going to lose so much time here. And bang. So basically, Alonso now is pretty much set to finish 4th. We're on lap 48. Verstappen is ahead by about 8 seconds. I think Leclerc should catch him, but whether or not Verstappen will see this out. We're on to lap 57, and Leclerc is going to do it. Alonso is 23 seconds behind Sainz. But there we go. Max Verstappen takes round 1 and wins the Bahrain Grand Prix. Leclerc second, Sainz third, and Alonso coming home in 4th. Interesting results. Perez, though, has moved to Alpine, so Perez has taken Fernando Alonso's role at Alpine. But here we go then. So Max Verstappen first, Fernando Alonso down in 4th, losing 1 place. Not a great performance from Fernando, to be honest with you. Would have preferred better. Kind of, I don't know. I feel like maybe even Perez could have done better, potentially. But let's see what he does when we move on to Jeddah coming up. So, yeah, nice little potential. Obviously not as much for Fernando. But Amy still there as the reserve driver, as we should be moving on to Jeddah soon. The thing is with this, because of signing Alonso, it was not as bad actually. So the team does make money. But anyway, we're here at Jeddah now. So we've done qualifying, simmed quali. Where are we? So Charles Leclerc takes pole. Max Verstappen is second, and Fernando Alonso 4th. The gap about 4 tenths between the two. Very close to Carlos Sainz, but not what we wanted. So let's see how we do then in Jeddah. So Leclerc faster. Can we make any positions on the line? Everyone's on mediums this time, so it could be a much easier one-stop strategy, but let's see what it goes. We go aggressive with both of them. Try and, push, try and get attack. Oh, looks like Sainz manages to hold on. Does Alonso get through? No, he doesn't. Looks like Sainz is actually attacking Verstappen. Everything's okay at the moment as we jump into time 16. And see how this race unfolds. Everything's kind of steady at the beginning. It's normally when you get to as Verstappen is actually leading this race now. So Verstappen is in front of Leclerc, and he's actually building a nice little gap as we skip onto lap 4. Alonso still in 4th. Verstappen, though, has built a 2-second advantage. So everything's going Verstappen's way at the moment. Although Verstappen has locked up, and he's down to 6. He's down further. He's down to 11th. What's happened? Let's have a look. Just an unforced error. I don't know how. He's not even pushing hard. I think he's unbalanced. And yeah, big blow. Where is he fallen? Is he last? He must be last. He is. He's 15th. Well, not last, but 15th. So he's got a bit of a... Well, he is last. He's 19th now. 20th. So there you go. He hasn't got started at all. So Verstappen's at the back. So this is a massive chance for Alonso. Massive chance for Alonso to get some points from a mistake from Verstappen. But it'll also be very interesting to see how Verstappen, just like in real life, where he just pile drives through the field, and we're already on to laps 16, and he's already up to 12th. Alonso, though, is 9 seconds off Sainz as Sainz pits. So an early pit stop for Sainz. But again, Alonso really struggling up against the Ferraris. Not being able to keep up with the pace at all. So he's 10 seconds already behind as Charles pits. So Alonso takes the de facto lead. So I assume Ferrari are potentially one stopping unless they're going like taking the hards to the maximum. They are on the hard tyres. But so we should have fresher, harder tyres. Verstappen's tyres a little bit more with the lockup. He's up to 9th though. Alonso is attacking, but he's pitting this lap. And we have a red flag. We've jumped to lap 42 actually. Because we have a red flag. And let's have a look. So it's Sebastian Vettel here, who's just crashed. And nothing really much happened in the race. strategy-wise. Verstappen's still coming through, but we've got a massive chance now. We can jump onto a set of soft tyres here on the restart and actually attack for these last couple of laps and try and break this Ferrari strength hold that they've had. So Alonso will start third, Verstappen in 6. So that was the first red flag of the session, but here we go for the restart. Can Alonso do anything? But everyone's on the soft tyres now.
And it's lights out, and away we go.
It's a good start from Alonso. He's pressuring the Ferrari. Can he get him around the outside? He gets the inside for the next one in Alonso. It's actually a much better start, so he might get Sainz and does get Sainz. Now we're on here. We've got enough fuel to the end of the race. There's only 6 laps to go. Can he pressurise Leclerc, or is he going to fall back? What can Verstappen do? He's got the fastest lap. He's got Perez and Russell ahead of him. But he should be able to get through, surely. As we go to times 2 speed, watching Alonso now just defending. He's got the lead. I've missed that. He's got the lead. He's taken Leclerc, so Alonso leads the race. Will he be able to hold it? But I think once DRS comes in, maybe even before DRS, or DRS is already here, on lap 46, manages to hold it off this time. First, Verstappen is... Oh, he might get both of them here, but no, Russell. He's kind of defending from Hamilton and Russell's, but he's past Perez and up into 5th place. He's run out of overtake. Oh, he's got overtake available. I thought he'd run out of overtake. As he now pushed up to Russell. So it's a good little comeback here from Verstappen
So far,
to try and get 4th. Vettel obviously out of the race as we speed up. So Alonso's still leading though, 4 laps to go. But I think now with the DRS, he's going to be a sitting duck. And Verstappen really has now passed Russell, but what can he do? And Alonso's back to 3rd. So as I thought, the DRS train was going to be hard. So can he stick with it? Although he's close to Sainz, but Leclerc has managed to build a little gap. As Verstappen, here we go though, but Leclerc though manages to win the race. Alonso does hold on and finishes 2nd, gets on the podium. As we see the results here. So Charles 1st, Fernando 2nd, Max did get up to 3rd. By the end, passing Sainz. So that's a really good performance from Max Verstappen. Really good recovery drive. Leclerc takes the championship lead at the moment. And Verstappen has a little advantage over Alonso going into the 3rd race of the season, which I'm now trying to forget where is the 3rd race of the season. Hopefully it comes up quick. Australia, of course. So here we go, Australian Grand Prix. So looks like Max is in 3rd and Alonso 4th. So we couldn't beat the Ferraris this time. As we go aggressive to try and attack the Ferraris and just see what they can do. But Alonso again losing out to Bottas in the opening couple of laps, and there's been a couple of crashes already. So let's have a look. It said McLaren that's crashed. It's Lando Norris and Yuki Tsunoda. I think they're pulled up on this. It said multiple. There we go. Spin. Both stopped. Both carry on though. So no safety car. No full course yellow. But Alonso, yeah, it's kind of been an average start from him. I would have expected better. Like, Verstappen has just kind of got the clear measure on him at the moment. But Alonso's 2nd. Verstappen is now up to 3rd as we hit lap 7 of this race. Verstappen is now past Alonso onto lap 8. So Verstappen is now ahead of Alonso. And here we go. I think Verstappen was ahead of Alonso. I can't remember. Did Alonso get ahead? I've already forgotten. But Verstappen not really making an inkling on Leclerc, so Alonso could get him on DRS here. Not quite, but maybe down here. We skip on to lap 19. Alonso's still behind. Max Verstappen, though, it's still close. Like the gap between Leclerc and we're very close at the moment. We can see it here right now. So Verstappen is trying to overtake Sainz and does overtake Sainz. So Leclerc has pitted already. Alonso is behind him 3rd, but just behind. So this race is much closer. And at least Alonso's... I suppose now that Verstappen's in clear air, can he pull away from Alonso? And was just not being able to overtake Sainz, keeping the 2 drivers close together.
Looked like a clean lap there as well.
And gets the fastest lap as well, which might prove that point. He's 7 attempts clear. Alonso's 1.2 back from Sainz. As we kind of just get him to push. Use a bit of that fuel. Although fuel's kind of interesting. It goes up to 1.2, then it's down to minus 0.5, and then it's up to plus 2, and it's just an ever-evolving thing, the fuel. So we skip on to lap 27. Leclerc takes the lead, but Alonso is now ahead of Verstappen, but not by much. And Alonso could take the lead here at the halfway point. But again, it's very close between the top 4 at the moment. Be an awesome race. I know we're trying to sim through this as much as possible, but Again, look, Verstappen, Sainz. I think the overtake sometimes just hindered them. So we have a yellow flag in sector 3 again, and there's another crash. Several cars involved, but no. Oh, we do have a safety car. So we do have a safety car. Alonso leads at this moment as we have a safety car. So Alonso leads. Leclerc is second, and Verstappen. We're trying to think: can we pit under safety car? Potentially not. Don't really have the tyres. We're on the hards. We're already probably on the hards, ready to restart. So again, multiple cars involved. Safety car. So an okay race from Alonso here. He's not doing too bad. It's probably the best race that he's shown so far. As we speed up on under the safety car. Catch up. But at least there's no lap cars in our way. So it's kind of everyone's together, which is nice. Because unfortunately the unlapped cars stay behind. So if you're a slower team and you've got the safety car, it's not great. But we're back racing again. Safety car is in. Leclerc has already passed Alonso. As we can see there, as we try and go aggressive to try and use the tyre that we've saved a little bit and the fuel, because we've got plenty of fuel at the moment. We did go into conserve, which probably hindered Alonso. So maybe it's kind of our fault that he kind of fell back and that gap kind of emerged to Alonso. But let's see what we can do now that we're pushing. And if Verstappen, who was mightily close to Alonso, can overtake, as DRS comes back into use, which is going to be interesting there because we are stuck in a DRS train, but Leclerc should be vulnerable. We are in DRS range of Alonso, but as we move on, Leclerc is pit box. Verstappen has overtaken Alonso just then. We're on lap 49, so kind of status quo, but then Leclerc pitted, so I don't know if Sainz is going to pick. Alonso takes the lead again, so these two are battling it out for the race lead. Alonso and Verstappen. It's the tail of the DRS, so Alonso seems he can stay within the 1 second window, which is helping him propel himself for this race and potentially. But Verstappen, so I think it's going to be last person across the line effectively. Who can have DRS last that could potentially win this race? As Verstappen does a great move using that DRS pen and using the two other corners. I think Alonso has DRS here, so he gets the lead again. So as I said, it's just going to be back and forth now. Verstappen now will have DRS. Can he get onto the back of him? The answer is no at this stage. So Alonso pulls out a small gap, but Verstappen this time around on lap 52 gets the lead. Can he pull out an advantage to sort of beat Alonso? But no, Alonso gets it again on lap 53 and pulls a little bit of an advantage, this time over a second. Can Alonso win this race? Or is Verstappen, Verstappen's got him back. Verstappen has just got the tyres, and Alonso moaning about the tyres, but we're not going to pit now. I'm sure Max, we're going to get the same message as well from Max in 2 seconds. Like, we should pit. I don't think we should pit, Max. We've got 2 laps to go. See, look, Alonso, would you box with 2 laps to go? I don't think so. And here comes the warning from Max. Alonso did slightly get in front there, but Verstappen manages to hold off into turn 1. And again, these two neck and neck. Which, as I said, is a good performance from Alonso. You know, we've got to give that for him. It's probably his best performance so far, but he looks like he is potentially going to lose out. Is this Alonso going through? It does, but it's the last lap of the race. Does that give Verstappen one last chance to get in front of him? I said this was going to be a race of who gets across the line, who has DRS last, and it could be Max Verstappen here. They're both pushing, both driving at the same pace, because we want to protect those tyres. We don't want any punctures. I haven't seen that yet in the game. But here we go. Verstappen then has DRS. Can he? He's only 4 tenths behind. Can he overtake now? Around the outside. Can't do it. So he's got one last chance. One last chance. And this is going to be a drag race to the line. Can Max do it? It looks like he is going to do it. Just Max Verstappen takes the win by 2 tenths of a second on DRS. I knew it was going to come down to that. I was kind of hoping Alonso would do it, but it was Verstappen that had it. So Verstappen wins, Alonso second. So again, more points for Verstappen, gaining on Alonso. But there's hope for this experiment that Alonso maybe can challenge Verstappen going forward, especially as the car improves. You know, good strategy. Ferrari did the 2-stop, we did the 1-stop. That was enough for us to get the 1-2. Sainz was bearing down on us towards the end, but ran out of laps. And a good job from both drivers. That's what we kind of wanted from Alonso, giving Max, you know, not falling out of that DRS zone, because that could have easily have happened. He could have fallen out of that DRS zone, so it gives us hope. Yeah, look at the time on that. It's basically identical. He's so unlucky, Fernando. But points-wise, you know, Max is gaining that advantage now, 66 points to 48. So what's that, like 18 points gap at the moment for Max Verstappen already at this stage, and Leclerc sitting in the middle between the two. And that is pretty much it for this video. As we sort of come back to me as they get their progression. So Alonso potentially, right, can do this. He can move forward, can challenge Max. So it'd be really interesting to see in the next episode, in the next couple of races when we go to Imola, Miami, what Fernando Alonso can do to challenge Max Verstappen, or is Max Verstappen just going to wipe the floor with Fernando? Really interesting to see. Thank you so much for watching this experiment video so far. Been a good one so far. Let's see what happens in part 2. I've been Goofy Giord. Please remember to hit that like and subscribe button. Also remember to follow me on Twitch as well. We're doing a live stream on there as well with Alfa Romeo. We've sacked Bottas, we've sacked Zhou, we've brought in Van Dorn, and we have brought in Nick De Vries as our 2 drivers, just to make it a bit harder so we're not winning races, because Bottas is OP in this game. But thank you very much for watching, and I'll see you soon.